Hi buddies, hope you're doing fine. In this series, we are going to talk about the important questions from the American literature. If you are ready, let's get started. 101 onwards. Song of Myself is a poem by Whitman. Benzie, Quentin, and Jason are characters in The Sound and Fury. 13 Ways of Looking at a Blackbird is a poem by Wallace Stevens. The meter of frost stopping by woods on the snowy evening is iambic tetrameter. Henry David Thoreau is associated with transcendentalism. The author of Twice Told Tales is Hawthorne. The author of the novel Uncle Tom's Cabin, Harriet Beecher Stowe. The subtitle of Thoreau's Walden is Life in the Woods. Alice Walker's The Color Purple was published in the year 1982. Whitman's When Lilacs Lost in the Dooryard Bloomed is an elegy on the death of Abraham Lincoln. T. Williams' play I Rise in Fame, Cried the Phoenix revolves around the death of D. H. Lawrence. The author of the great American novel is William Carlos Williams. The author of the novel To Kill a Mockingbird is Harper Lee. Whitman's Leaves of Grass was published in the year 1855. The cut-up technique was used by the novelist William S. Burroughs. Thomas Pynchon's latest novel is Manson and Dixon. Poe introduced raven as an ill-omened bird. The raven croaked the word nevermore. Poe wrote the poem The Raven to prove his poetic theory. Poe's girlfriend name was Lenore. Robert Frost was a regional poet. Stevens' themes are highly impersonal. Frost had used blank verse in the poem. Ransom's Blue Girls is a humorous poem. The essay, The Philosophy of Composition, begins with a reference to Charles Dickens. Lincoln's Gettysburg Address ennobled the purpose of the American Civil War. Hawthorne was friendly with Melville. Ernest Hemingway received the Nobel Prize for Literature in the year 1954. Hemingway did not like to present false emotions. Death of a Salesman is a variation of the Oedipus theme. The Glass Menagerie is a memory play. The Glass Menagerie is divided into 7 scenes. The Old Man and the Sea is an epic battle between an old, experienced fisherman and a giant fish. The Battle of Gettysburg is one of the most important civil war was fought in 1863. The Battle of Gettysburg is one of the most important civil war was fought in 1863. Emerson and Thoreau had made positive affirmations. Henry James' literary career can be divided into 4 periods. After Apple Picking was written by Robert Frost. The America poets are to enclose the old and the new for America is the race of races. The Art of Fiction was written by Henry James. Thomas Wolfe's first novel, Look Homeward, Angel, was published at the end of 1929. American literature began in the 17th century. War and violence are the materials of the Hemingway approach. A Farewell to Arms, based on Hemingway's Italian war experiences, is one of the best of the American war novel. I was always embarrassed by the words sacred, glorious, and sacrifice, and the expression in vain said by Hemingway. More was associated with Irving Babbitt. When was the American Civil War fought? 1861 to 1865. Who defined democracy as government of the people, by the people, for the people? Abraham Lincoln. An American poet is hailed as the representative poet of American democracy. Who is he? Walt Whitman. Melville's Moby Dick gives us glimpses into world of Wales. The hero of Melville's Moby Dick is Ahab. Who has written Tom Sawyer? Mark Twain. Who is the author of Walden? Henry David Thoreau. Who has written The Portrait of a Lady? Henry James. In Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea, the old man hooks a huge fish. What is the fish called? Marlin. In which year was Eugene O'Neill awarded the Nobel Prize? 1936. How many times Eugene O'Neill was awarded the Pulitzer Prize? 4 times. Who discovered America in 1492? Columbus. Who is the father of American poetry? William Cullen Bryant. Who has been called the romancer of the sea? James F. Cooper. The Purloined Letter is a seminal short story by Edgar Allan Poe. Who is the writer of such poem? The Raven, The Haunted Palace, The Conqueror Worm, The Bells, and To Helen. Poe. Who is the father of American Transcendentalism? Emerson. Who said nature is a greater and more perfect art? Thoreau. Who declared Edgar Allan Poe to be always and for all lands a great lyric poet? W.B. Yeats. Who wrote the seminal book Nature? Emerson. Thoreau's masterpiece Walden is divided into 18 chapters. Who himself classified his tales as grotesque, arabesque, and ratiocination? Edgar Allan Poe. Who wrote such seminal essays Self-Reliance, The Oversoul, and The American Scholar? Emerson. Who wrote the essay Civil Disobedience? Thoreau. Who is the principal character in Melville's Moby Dick? Captain Ahab. Who wrote the poem Who Selwyn Moberly? Ezra Pound. Patterson, a famous American poem, is written by William Carlos Williams. The poem Chicago is written by Carl Sandburg. Who is the narrator in F. Scott Fitzgerald novel The Great Gatsby? Nick. Robert Frost's famous line, Good fences make good neighbors, appears in The Mending Wall. Who is the central figure in O'Neill's The Hairy Ape? Young. Which one has been read as a proletarian epic? William Faulkner's Light in August. Blanche is the central figure in one of the Tennessee Williams play, A Streetcar Named Desire. Who is the central character in Hemingway's novel The Old Man and the Sea? Santiago. Who wrote the famous poem Harlem Dancer? Claude McKay. Absalom, a novel by William Faulkner, appeared in the year 1938. Harlem Renaissance became popular in 1920s. Who used the phrase the central tradition? George Santayana. Richard Wright is a black American writer. The Ambassador is a novel written by Henry James, centers on Lambert Strather. Sherwood Anderson's Winesburg, Ohio is a collection of short stories. Tar, a Midwest Coldwood, a semi-autobiographical novel written by Sherwood Anderson, published in the year 1926. Maya Angelou is an Afro-African novelist. Who edited the North American Review? Henry Brooks Adams. Who described his poems as symphonies? Conrad Aiken. Who is the author of New York trilogy City of Glass, Ghost, and The Cooked Room? Paul Auster. Irving Babbitt, the leader of American New Humanism, is a critic. James Baldwin is a black American writer. Juno Chapel Barnes, as American writer, is famous for her novel Knighthood. The popular utopian romance Looking Backward 2002 1887 is written by Edward Bellamy. In Saul Bellows' novel Herzog, Moses Herzog is a Jew. James Baldwin's famous novel Go Tell It on the Mountain is set in Harlem. Saul Bellows' novel Henderson, The Rain King, which deals with Gone Henderson's quest for spiritual power in Africa, appeared in the year 1959. Beloved, a famous American novel which deals with slavery, is written by Toni Morrison, whose belief is that language is a virus and led him to employ the cut-up technique. William Burroughs. That's all about this video. If you need more like this, do comment. Thank you so much for watching this video today. If you're having any suggestion, let me know in the comment section. We'll see you next video. Tada, bye bye.